So, Glenn, we are back. Podcast number 2, Cabin Challenge podcast, folks, coming at you. Got Glenn Lapolt, Jeff Weiss. What's going on tonight, Glenn?
Oh, nothing, Jeff. I had a good weekend, some beautiful weather, but I can't tell you how excited I am to be in the basement here recording another podcast. Pretty excited about this. A lot of
This is
stuff
good
going
stuff.
on. Yeah.
We had a hiccup, right? We had a recording, and folks, this is we're just amateurs here,
Yeah,
and
totally. In every respect.
and in every single respect possible. Yeah, so we're re-recording, and Glenn, this is year 11 of the Cabin Challenge.
It is year 11.
It's pretty awesome. Double
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So we have sponsors like every year, and this year they are like rolling in like the morning dew. Tell me about them. Who's on board?
We have some of our long-term time sponsors. We got Momentum Physical Therapy, P&G's, the cornerstone of New Paltz, Bicycle Rack, Mixture Clothing, SGB, Planning Policy and Research. We got Stevens Realty Group, Vi13 Custom Apparel. And this year we also have some new sponsors we'd like to welcome. We have Pilates of New Paltz, Elise Bacon. She's joining our sponsorship crew as
Elise.
Yes, right. Exciting, right?
Wow, that is super cool.
We've also the SOS, Survival of the Shwangunks, has come on board as a sponsor. So we're super excited.
Forget about it. Dude, that's legit.
Yeah, it's very legit. We might have to up our game here, Weiss.
I mean, with the SOS sponsoring us, if we don't up our game, we're in big trouble.
I mean, listen, when the greatest triathlon in the world decides they're going to sponsor you, you got to up your
Do
game.
they realize it's you and me doing this, or they think there's like professionals behind this game?
I don't know. We'll have to see what they think, But
No, we know. Evans, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Evans.
So thanks to everybody, the new sponsors and our long-term sponsors.
Everyone
Thank
else. You. Yeah. Very excited. That's great.
Totally. So let's get right at it, Jeff. So let's tonight's podcast is going to be, we're going to take you through the 2 courses, babe. We're going to discuss the two of our 4 courses. So just to remind everybody, we have the Fondo, which is a 35-mile gentle course, rolling.
I think, Glenn, I think you described it as you could drink beer the entire time.
You could drink beer the entire time and still be okay. Not that I condone you doing that, but I know that's what some people do, and you'll be all right.
I'm tempted. It's super dangerous.
At least as far as you'll be all right as far as the ride goes. I can't speak about your.
Right. You'll be able to finish
your spiritual condition. We're going to also offer a fondues this year, which is about a 50 miler. I think we're going to do about a 50 miler. It will be super scenic, offer everything that our awesome rides offer, and will also just not a lot of hills. So
Glenn,
exciting.
the fondues is not necessarily going to be just a double Fondo.
No, I think we're going to take people out to the Fondo course and then maybe circle them out in like a cup, like in the more scenic part, maybe do like 2 loops out in the Stone Ridge there in the farm country of Stone Ridge, and maybe add a couple new spots in there. We got to kind of recon that course a little bit, check it out.
I mean, you're starting to get into the very beginning, although it's iffy, but you're starting to get into a little bit of some mediocre hillbilly country out there.
Yeah.
So
that's where that is. You get a little bit of everything out there, Jeff.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about this whole opportunity for the fondues. and I have a special little idea for a T-shirt with the fondues, and
Excellent.
should be kind of nice. I'm excited to get these shirts printed up for people signing up for the fondues, and but what we want to talk about now is the Cabin Challenge Originale, which is the 78 miler, and the Cabin Challenge Full Monty, which is it's about 101 miles, could branch out to be about 108 this year. So we want to discuss those courses a little bit. So what do you think, Jeff? Should we get right at it?
Let's do it. Cabin Challenge Originale. Let's take us through.
Well, you're going to head out of the headquarters of the Cabin Challenge. Currently, our headquarters are at 14 Morningstar Drive. You're going to have a great ride down Springtown Road in New Paltz. Scenic, for the most part, flat.
Nice flat part.
It's flat.
Yeah.
Pretty
you
unremarkable.
You can be in your bars the whole time.
Exactly.
That's your thing.
Yep. You're going to have a fairly hair-raising downhill at the end of Springtown, but not too bad. Going to cross over onto, and this is all on the course also, folks. Just want to kind of bring you a more personal overview of the course. Going to take
on the website.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Right?
Yep. And
cabinchallenge.com.
Cabinchallenge.com. And we're going to take you up into, Cottakill, Rosendale. You're basically going to cross Route 209, and the course is going to start getting spectacularly scenic. Hurley Mountain Road. You're gonna take that all the way down until you start climbing up towards the reservoir on Ashokan Road. That's going to be about 15 miles. So roughly the first 15 miles of the course are pretty flat, scenic, and there's a couple up rollers, but for the most part you'll be in
some rollers.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, as you get into Cottakill there by the college, you got a nice little easy climb though. Good warm up.
What people actually don't know, but they're going to now because I'm going to tell them, is there's actually a road on the course named after Jeff. It's called Bogart Lane. Isn't that true, Jeff? You spent a lot of time out there and back in your college days or high school days riding around. And
Glenn, either I can't remember or I don't want to say. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Maybe in one of the later podcasts, I could fill everybody in on that story you told me when you and your buddy were in the car riding up Overlook Mountain and hanging out, and the bear was chasing some cyclist, and you just rode next to the cyclist and heckled him. You're like, dude, there's a bear behind you, man. You better dig.
That is a true story. We did pass a bear.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, screw you, kids. We were like, no, seriously, there's a bear behind us. And then we was like, we were like, good luck, pal. And he turned around and saw it, and he started hauling ass up.
And you guys left. Nice. I love it. The bear probably ate him.
There. Probably ate him.
Well,
sorry, pal.
So basically, once you get to Ashokan Road, the next 15 miles of the course, you're going to pick up about 1,000 feet of climbing, but it comes pretty gradually. Very scenic. You're heading up to the Ashokan Reservoir, which is really a signature. It's like a diamond, man, for the cyclists and recreation, enthusiasts of the area. You're going to go across the top of the dam. You're going to ride your bike. You're cycling all the way across the dam weir. You're going to see the reservoirs going to be right next to you. A lot of people will be out walking. It's absolutely beautiful. The Catskill Mountains are laid out in front of you. Unreal.
Glenn's usually out there rollerblading in his short shorts, but this time he'll be riding in his spandex.
Listen,
so either way, folks, it's a sight to see.
Yeah, either whether I'm cycling or in the rollerblades, it's a sight to see. So I try to keep it interesting at the maybe that could be a fifth thing for next year. We shuttle people out to the reservoir and they gotta rollerblade 6 miles across the top. So
it is an amazing sight.
Yeah,
you got the whole this big range of the I'm not sure Western Catskills, I guess.
Yep.
And the whole slide Wittenberg
it's unbelievable.
range there.
Unbelievable.
It's great. And maybe you'll even see an eagle. There is an eagle that camps out, nets up there.
Yep.
And it's pretty majestic, dude.
Yeah. when a little
Good part of the
stint.
ride.
You got a little bit of a stint on 28A, which is also a pretty nice ride. And, it's kind of a little bit of a downhill. Some rollers, but you're kind of sloping down, which
Yeah.
kind of sucks. It's great at the time you're going down, but then as a cyclist, when you're kind of going down, you always know you're going to have to climb back up. So it's kind of got some mixed feelings about that section. And once you get into Olive Bridge at mile 30, 31-ish, things are going to get real, and they're going to get real pretty fast.
They get real, real fast.
Yeah, you're going to climb up Peekamoose, which is a pretty steep climb. It comes on pretty quick. The good thing is it ends kind of quick. I mean, the bad thing is, it is, I think, 17% in some spots. Cyclists have been known who haven't done that ride before, falling off their bike, forced to walk up it. But it does end quick. And,
Well, Peekaboos?
yeah. I mean,
Oh man, that thing drags forever. It's like
maybe I
it doesn't
blocked
end
it out.
quick. It's a long, slow death.
All right, so maybe I'm stretching a bit here, and but just keep grinding it out, man. You might have to do a little serpentine, as you're going up the mountain, just weaving your bike back and forth to kind of take the steepness out of it. That always works. Also, so you can work it. But when you get to the top, and that's also the first part of the King and the Queen of the Mountain Challenge. So when you get to the top, we use Strava. It's going to record your time. So, if you're interested, make sure you have Strava. If you want to be considered for these awards, make sure that you have Strava, and it's we have preset legs, and that's one of the climbs.
Didn't we start like a group?
We start a group. A group.
Yeah.
We'll have like Cabin
So
Challenge 2022, and you got to be in it. None of this stuff that you you were in it, but somehow your satellite kicked you out, but for sure you got up faster than anybody. You're out. We don't tolerate that shit.
That has happened to me every year since we started that.
Yeah.
I know I got it.
Well,
I got kicked out.
People have gone out of their way to, do what they can on that climb. We actually had one Cabin Challenge rider. I don't want to name his actual name, but he's the chief of police, and he had to stop the climb to go back because someone unfortunately got shot at the Plaza Diner. So he had to go investigate that murder, and he avoided the climb, which...
Well, at the time, we thought it was just a big ruse to get out of doing the climb, having faced Peekamoose and the beginning of... No, he bailed on Peekamoose, didn't he?
He did bail on Peekamoose right when it started to climb.
Yeah. Right when it started to get steep.
And then he had his wife come pick him up. I don't even know what to make of that.
I'm just glad we have him on our side.
He's on our side, and he's a heck of a guy. Always welcome at the Cabin Challenge, that person. And
he'll come back.
Yeah, he will. So the next 15 miles could be actually better than along the top of the reservoir. You go to the Peekamoose Wild Forest. You're all kind of gently sloping downhill. The road, for the most part's in good shape. It's unreal. And there's waterfalls to look at. You'll see some bald eagles, maybe, all kinds of wildlife. There's not going to be a lot of cars. You're cycling along the Roundout Creek, which is a great trout creek, which I've had a good time there in the past, fishing and cycling past. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful. Most people will say that's the best part of the course. Would you agree, Jeff?
It's amazing part, and like you said, waterfalls all along the way on the side, either side. The streams are running.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a great, and the best part is it's like this super sweet downhill.
Yeah, it's great.
Almost all downhill for that long. There's a couple risers there, but
I mean, there are a couple things you do have to be careful of there. One, Yetis. There's been numerous Yeti sightings there. Yeah, I know people think.
Always.
I think people think that we make this up, but we had. There's been a couple times in the past in the cabin while we were hiking up into the Peekamoose Range and Table Mountain, bushwhacking up, banging out these peaks. We had one unfortunate cabin person was assaulted by a Yeti, and I don't really want to get into the particulars, but I'm trying to get him on the show as a guest, and he can maybe present his version. I'm not actually sure. I mean, there was clearly a Yeti. I'm not sure if it could be categorized as an assault, sexual assault. But you know,
I think given the group of folks you're talking about and the time frame in what you're talking about, I'm pretty sure you weren't banging out peaks. You're probably banging out cans of Bush Light, and it was just a white cat that ran by you in the woods. And you guys are now like, it was a Yeti, I swear.
listen, Jeff, it was a Yeti. Other things
That's
you got
the
to
story
worry
we're going
about,
with, folks.
yeah. But really, your real problem up here is the hillbillies, and yeah,
You gotta watch. You gotta watch. You gotta watch where you're going and where you've been.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You're in some country. This is country now, and there's not a tremendous amount of cyclists. It's not like you're cycling it's not your weekend club ride somewhere wherever you live. You're in the heart of the Catskills, and people riding around in spandex should use caution. Make sure you stay with a buddy. Always buddy up. Big fan of the buddy system. That's going to bring us to the aid station. We've cut back in the past. We used to have we had 3 different aid stations every 15 miles, but we offered so many awesome delectables that people would hang out at the aid station for like 40 minutes. I had to run them out of there. I mean, we've had people just hanging out at the aid stations like it was a carnival. So now we offer up one aid station at mile 43. But it is a doozy. We have watermelon, fresh cut oranges. We have, Stinger products, all organic Stinger products. We have all sorts of electrolyte drinks. We have water. We have, for those people who we even have stuff for people who, these people that ride that decide that if they're going to run a marathon or do the SOS, they're going to have to eat 30 Oreos. But we have them for you. If that's your bag, if you're listen, I'm doing this ride because I need to eat 12 packages of Nutter Butters, we got you covered, buddy. Yeah, we have
Glenn,
you covered.
You guys, we had Dunkin' Donuts donut holes.
Yeah, donut
We've
holes.
had them on the course.
We've had them on the course.
I'll be honest, I've partaken. I went back to the box at least twice.
Yeah, we
on a ride.
The donut holes. We had popsicles. We had juice boxes. We put on a spread.
Yeah, why not? If I'm going to do a 75-mile ride of soul-crushing climbs, I'm going to eat some donuts.
And it's not. I have very little old expired stuff I got from Ironman left, but it's still there, and I still will filter it in. So.
Nice.
Is
it the
mix it in? It's
the
filler.
Espresso?
Yeah,
the espresso gels,
the cran raz, the espresso gels. we got it all. And so we got that. But that's when the course is going to change up a bit, because if you're going back to the if you're going to do the full Monty, you're then going to go take a right-hand turn and you're heading right up the Blue Monster. It is 5.5 miles of sustained climbing. The hills are steep, they're long, they're unforgiving, and sometimes it's taking people an hour to cycle up the mountain. A lot of people have to get off their bike. They're sprawled out on the top of the mountain, getting ravaged by black flies, but they can't go on. Which it's a steep climb. Some spots are very steep. People topple off their bikes sometimes. So that's part of the full Monty. We call that the Blue Monster. And then you're going to circle around the top of the mountain. Beautiful, unbelievable. And then you're going to there's one last climb after you literally have nothing left in the tank. There's a climb, there's a little part, the mountain just juts out a little higher, and that's called What the Fuck Mountain. And that's it's kind of a steep climb in itself. And that'll kind of finish you off. And
Now, Glenn, wasn't that the old original Dutch name of that small mountain there?
Yeah, I think it was. I think the Dutch when they came here, it was called uh, historically speaking,
The Firk.
it was called I think it was called the What the Fuck Hill Kill. And then
Oh, the little stream there.
yeah, yeah, and then they changed it.
Sure,
They took
sure.
off the kill off the end of it. But then you got to come out of there with an absolutely terrifying downhill that's also steep where you're rocketing down there at 50 plus miles per hour, and then all of a sudden it just ends and you have to start hitting your brakes because the road you got to go left or right, and if you go straight there's like another huge mountain in front of you that's like with a big rock. So we put signs up there, folks, urging caution. So, frankly, we don't advise
We
you to do the full Monty unless you're an experienced cyclist. So none of you'll be fine there. But the full Monty is not for a weekend warrior. You'll never make it back. I'm not going to lie to you there. And Jeff, you would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah,
And
100%.
we're not going to come looking for you.
No.
Sorry. We'll be
Yeah,
full of
I'll
hamburgers
be at
and
the
baked
after.
beans.
I'll be at the after banquet, just really getting my money's worth out of the event, which will be catered by P&G's. Maybe I think the Tommy I is going to come down himself and be whipping up the burgers. I'm just going to be
Nice.
hammering them.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, then you got the full Monty. You got another 20 miles, 15 miles, where you're going to be kind of gently along the Neversink River. Also beautiful. You're going to go past the Blue Hill Lodge, which is our traditional ending spot, which we're hoping to get back to next year maybe, but there was some COVID protocol this year also. Then you got another tremendous downhill, which you're going to end up kind of going through the town of Grahamsville at the end of the downhill, and all of a sudden you're back to the aid station, as you come along the Roundout Reservoir. So basically, the Full Monty is the Cabin Challenge Originale course with like a 30-mile loop or so through some of the most treacherous country. Now, one thing I didn't mention, which I got to backtrack, when you're going up the Blue Hill Lodge, which is actually the Blue Monster, what's most unnerving is the gunfire that just erupts because you're in some deep country there, and people who've done it will testify that does in fact happen. And again, you got hillbillies up there. It's something you should be careful for.
Glenn, we've both talked about this and have experienced it where um, getting to the top there and kind of it flattens out and some people take a break for a moment. A couple folks have gotten off their bike, got off the saddle for a minute to try to stretch, and they have seized up every muscle in their leg like a cold day coming out of a wasting out in the SOS. And you yourself just off to the side in the ditch,
I
almost left for dead.
Yeah, I got off my bike and I hit the dirt. I crumpled. My body seized up, and it was just my luck that the guy coming up the mountain behind me was a Scott. I think he's a physical therapist or a massage therapist, and he massaged me. Literally had to like perform like some, medical procedures on me to get me back in my bike. I was pretty messed up, but I got off easy because I've also seen black flies up there so big that some of the smaller riders, some black flies latched into them. They almost got them off the ground and just took them into the woods. But thankfully, we fended off the black flies. And
The official bird of the Kevin Challenge.
yeah, that is exactly it. We'll put that on the website too. And if you're riding up there and you're near Judge Bacon, Judge Bacon has some amazing stories about going up to represent some clients up in the court there in the town of Denning. So just sit back and listen to him. But listen, I can't. We've had some trouble in Denning in the past, Jeff. We've been a little over ambitious with our marking of the road.
Yeah.
And
we paid. We paid with our with our community service time.
Yeah, we got hauled
Put it
into
that
court
way.
up there. We had to go up there and clean the road, which they ended up paving anyway. And then they actually tried to make. They claim they made a law that any group of cyclists or runners coming through the town had to get a permit, and they were really all over us. And we actually had to have our in-house counsel call up and say we'd like to see this law. And it turns out they said we actually don't have a law, but we're pretending we do because we don't want you coming through. So that was all kind of silly on their part, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. But we appreciate the town of Denning nonetheless.
Yeah,
It's a
we love
beautiful
the
place
town
to
of Denning.
ride,
It's
and
a
we have our
beautiful
party
town.
there.
It's a great town, and the people of Denning, they're amazing. Relatives that came out of Denning, I own property there. Denning's amazing. So when you get back to the
I
aid
like that they-
station, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, I like that they paved the road literally the next summer after we went and covered up all of his markings for
But
4.5 hours.
I agree, but I think they went too heavy on the blacktop at the top of the course and somehow made the mountain steeper.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew
what was going on.
Like, yeah, finish these bastards.
Good on
off.
them. I have
Yeah.
to say, good on them.
Yeah, it's tricky, but I support it. And
Yeah.
then when you hit that aid station, they'll be back in business for you at the end. Now we'll know how many people are hitting the Full Monty, and if the aid station's got to bust it out. We've actually had aid stations before that just disappeared because the guy wanted to get cell service and whatever else he was doing. But we all sure that won't happen this time. But they'll come out and find you. So they'll go in the reverse order. So if you're still out there on the Full Monty, they'll come out and resupply. Last year I did that, and I resupplied some people before I went back to the base. And then you're going to cycle across the 55A. You're going to go along now the Roundout Reservoir, which,
Another beautiful reservoir and a ride. 55A is really, really nice.
I have mixed feelings about this. I love the reservoir. I love the watching the reservoir, but it kind of sucks because people always say it's flat. It's not flat. There's a lot of uphill, and it's kind of not steep, but you're like kind of pissed off. At least I'm pissed off, and I'm riding it.
Yeah, you're definitely pissed off. But
pissed off.
You're right.
And there's a wind right in your face, so you're kind of grinding. It kind of sucks. Not gonna lie, but
yeah,
it looks nice. So as you're in pain,
the nature of the ride, right?
As you're in pain, realizing you still got to cycle, 2.5 hours
It's
back. At least it looks nice.
You still have a significant ride ahead of you. That's what I think. That's what
Yeah.
gets you pissed off. You're like, I've just done all that, and I still have to go all the way back.
Yep.
And over a mountain.
Then you're going to basically wind your way down into Kerhonkson, and you're going to cross Route 209. I'll just say for this section of the course, there's a couple really fun downhills. You're going to cross 209, and you're going to now ride for several hundred yards, literally no more than maybe 5 feet from the maximum security prison, the Eastern Annex, and the medium security prison, Napanock. And, there's a lot to look at in this section, Jeff. There's a lot to look at. Would you?
I'm not sure. Oh, I don't remember it. I only done that course. That was the very original course on the way out, if you remember.
Well,
we rode out that way.
You ride out there,
Road.
and you're right along the prison. So there's the razor wire. So you got the razor wire. You got the fence that keeps the inmates in, and then there's that no man's land fence with the outer fence.
Yeah.
So I guess that if you're actually cross that first fence and you make it into that no man's land, before you actually get an attempt to climb the fence and get tore to pieces in the razor wire, the guards who are up in the many scary-looking turrets will just rain hails of gunfire down upon you. So you could think upon that as you're riding along that section and hope you don't get a flat tire, which we've actually had happen once.
It's hard to see. It's hard to see through all those fences. Whether you're leaning against it, changing a tire, you might look like you're on the inside.
Sometimes, when you go through there, I ride by there all the time, and sometimes the guys are outside there. If it's a nice day and they're out in the yard. So it's an interesting section, But then you're going to be you're coming along now the other side of the ridge, and this is also a beautiful section. The Roundout Creek is on your left, and you're going through some beautiful farm country, and it's really unbelievable. And you basically are on the west side of the ridge paralleling the base of the ridge for about 15 miles. You're going through Kerhonkson. I took the ride right past my first swim coach, Art Stockin. Guys, he was an amazing human being. We ride right past his house at Kerhonkson. It's unbelievable. And you take that all the way in until you're going to start your climb up Mohonk. That's how that goes.
You go past the old granite, right?
The old granite, where that in itself, I mean, some of you might know it as a Hudson Valley Resort. Jeff and I know it as the Granite, where, what can you say? It was an amazing place. There were many good times had there by myself. How about yourself, Jeff?
Yeah, man. I used to go, I think we used to go up and in like elementary school and go to just hang out at the Granite in the wintertime. There was a pool, some very sketchy, cheesy indoor skating rink. It was like the size of like a 2-stall garage, but they turned it into a rink. That's what I can remember.
Yeah,
it was good times, man. It was good old school homespun fun, man.
I loved it, and I don't know. Back in high school now, I don't know when this was. We're talking now back in I think it was the early '80s, mid '80s. There was a Sweet 16. Some girl in my class had a Sweet 16 party, so her parents thought it was a good idea to rent out a floor at the Granite and just turn loose like 80 16-year-old kids in 1984.
That sounds amazing.
We enjoyed ourselves.
Sure.
So anyway, let's get back to the ride. So now you got to climb up Mohonk. And, what can I say about climbing up Mohonk? Steep. It's about 2 miles. This is the two.
I think you got to just put your head down and climb.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like it's a nice climb.
It's great. I climb it all the time. I love to climb. It's steep though,
great.
And it's gonna hurt. It hurts anytime. Anytime you climb at Mohonk, I do it all the time. It sucks. It's hard, but it's gonna be really hard after you've ridden either 98 miles or 76 miles. You're gonna really be digging it, and at this point it's going to be about 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the afternoon. So there's going to be traffic. If it's a Memorial Day weekend, you're going to have some traffic. So, but it's a beautiful road. It's a wide shoulder.
It's a good road. There's not any blind turns. People will see you, but there will be people heading to Mohonk. So yeah. But you're in the home stretch. Even on the uphill. You are really in the home stretch.
Unbelievable. And so you climb Mohonk, and that's the second part of the king of the mountain and the queen of the mountain, where, your aggregate time from the Pikamoose climb and the Mohonk time are going to be added together, and the fastest combined time is the king of the mountain and the queen of the mountain. That's how that works. And you get a nice plaque back at to finish the ride, you bomb down Mohonk, which is great, and then you return to the base, and there'll be a huge tent set up. You're going to get some great swag. You're going to get a great all-you-can-eat barbecue. We're a family-friendly event. Bring your family. I know lots of you out there probably neglect your family a lot because that's just the type of folks you are. So please bring them along. Even if you're like, listen, here's my kid, we'll put him to work for about 8 hours as you're out cycling. Yeah, we'll have a job.
Definitely be a job.
And
we got kids ringing. Glenn, we talked about the bell.
The bell.
One.
We got
let's talk about the bell again.
We got a bell.
We got to talk about the bell.
We got a bell from it's minted. I think it was 1790, and
this is like a Liberty Bell looking bell.
Yeah.
This isn't like a handheld.
It's a legitimate bell, and the folks could see it at the end of the podcast. There's a picture of my daughter Ella ringing the bell, so you can see the bell, and you can hear the bell in the beginning of the podcast. We like the bell. We ring the hell out of the bell. Everybody loves the bell, except my neighbors, because every time the riders are leaving early in the morning, we're ringing the bell. And when they get back, all the many kids that are assembled waiting for their parents to get back or
They're
their
ringing the bell.
guardians are just ringing the hell out of the bell. So that, let me tell you, that thing is ringing like there's no tomorrow, which we love it. And so there's the bell. That's going to bring you home. When you hear that, you're going to hear the bell. Let me tell you something. As you're hurting, as you've dodged some, black flies, your legs are shot, you've been, chased by hillbillies, you're hurting on every account. When you hear that bell hammering away in your last half mile, another rider's arrived safely, and you can't wait till you roll into the home stretch right here to hear that. I don't know what else I could say. You got to experience it. There's also going to be another musical guest. Last year we had a bagpipe, which was great. Everybody loved the bagpipe. I didn't really know, though. I don't know much about bagpipes other than I love bagpipes, Jeff. Who doesn't love bagpipes? But apparently you have to warm up the pipes. Did you know this?
I want to say yes, so I will, but I think I did know that.
No,
but
I didn't know that. And so the guy who rolled in, was like, I got to warm up my pipes. And I was like, all right. So he drove down the road and got in front of a neighbor's driveway as he just warmed up his pipes. And apparently it sounded, as awesome as bagpipes are, they sound absolutely horrific when they're warming up. My neighbors let me know that. So we're not going to bring the bagpiper back. That we do have another guest that's going to be out in the course. So we don't want to spoil that for you. You guys are just going to have to experience that.
nice.
But
I don't even know what this is yet, so I'm excited.
It's
I'm
going to
excited
be great, So anyway, that's that. Those are the two courses. The aid station, it's great, Great dinner, swag. We have some of the finest swag going. Really, we give away a lot of stuff. This year we're gonna also, as each rider comes in, they're gonna get a little ticket, and we're gonna have a drawing. So we're gonna just pull names out of a hat as they come in. I'll have one of the kids that we forced into labor, putting their ticket into the basket. So then we'll pull stuff out.
Perfect.
Like, you win a Cabin Challenge jersey, you win, maybe free entry to next year's ride. Here's a pair of Cabin Challenge socks. Here's a Cabin Challenge hat.
Nice.
For those of you out there, we have great swag, and merchandise. So make sure which is going to get shut down pretty soon. So actually, you'll probably keep it right open until right when registration begins, another 9 days or so. But, this year we're selling Cabin Challenge skull caps. We're selling the Cabin Challenge visor. We're selling Cabin Challenge riding jerseys, both long and short sleeve. What else do we have? We have a beautiful long sleeve T-shirt, Cabin Challenge T-shirt. So we have some swag. And listen,
T-shirt looks good. The
it looks
T-shirt
great.
looks good. I'm loving that long sleeve.
It's not necessarily how you do; it's how you look doing it. That's one of my main mottos.
Yeah.
So, you might be a horrible rider, but you know what? Just look good. If you look good out there, you'll probably pull it off. So visit our website, check out the merch, get some merch, and we're going to auction some of that off too. So we're going to do that at the end.
So go get registered.
Yeah.
I guess that's the message here.
Yeah,
Just go get registered. It's on bikereg.com, and you can search for Cabin Challenge, and Cabin Challenge will pop up, and I think they were the only one on there. So.
Yeah, and I'll send the link out to you. Our link's on the website, and I'll also make sure to send the link to people.
Good times.
We usually don't send out a lot of emails, and but we're
just the inspirational messages from the coach in Glenn that motivates and just livens everybody's day.
Well,
if you've gotten the emails, you know what they are, and they're famous. Frankly, they're famous emails. So
I sent out a quick email today. It was the trip down memory lane. I sent it out, I think, late this afternoon. It's kind of cool.
I saw that. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. Producer Tom Hine and his daughter put that together. So thanks, Tom. That was great. I'm sure I've got some responses already. People liked it, But once we get the ride registered, everybody's registered, I'm going to start with the traditional, your doughy and weak and can't cycle emails, which everybody kind of loves. At least I like
that's what I'm
writing.
talking about.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. So listen, folks, you could catch this podcast. This is on a YouTube channel, which I'm going to send you I'm going to send you a variety of links. So we're on Spotify and we're on iTunes. So that's probably the best that if you're just going to go audio. And so if you're going to be out, running or, whatever you do, driving, you could listen to the audio of the podcast. But we're also going to probably put it on YouTube still, like the previous one. And we're still working out some glitches with filming, but if you want to check that out, you could check that out too. So there's many ways for you to check out this podcast, and we're going to start having some guests on, things like that, and phone in a variety of things. And that's about it for us today. Jeff, do you have anything you want to say to add before we go?
Just that if the YouTube link is unavailable, it's because it's getting so many downloads of people trying to see Glenn and I on camera. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Glenn,
I mean, we are married
folks,
out there, so people can, you check it out.
Podcast. This was podcast number 2.
Number 2.
I think we did a little better. We're going to keep dialing it in, folks.
Yeah.
It's going to get awesome. You're never going to want to leave home without your phone to listen to it. And Glenn, it's great to see you guys.
It is.
Thanks to Tom.
I have to add one thing is lots of my students are subscribing to the podcast, so they were asking to get a special shout out. So I want to give a shout out to all my classes, and they're like, could you mention our class by name because we're your favorite? And all I will say to that is, you know who you are, so there's no need for me to say that because I don't want to make the other kids feel bad. But I love all of you, and I hope you did your homework tonight. Anyway, so that's it. Jeff, it's been great talking to you again on the podcast. Tom, thanks for everything. And we'll see you guys. We'll have another podcast out in a couple weeks. Have a great night, everybody.
Right on.
Right on.